let's talk about the connection between smoking and mental health. And I'm challenging myself to go a week without a cigarette to see how it affects my mood and focus. Smoking and mental health, it's a topic that's often overlooked, despite the fact that millions of people around the world struggle with both. Today, I want to explore the often misunderstood relationship between smoking and our mental well-being, and I'm excited to share my findings with you. One of the most common misconceptions about smoking is that it's a stress reliever. Many smokers believe that lighting up a cigarette helps to calm their nerves and reduce anxiety. And it's easy to see why nicotine does provide a temporary sense of relaxation and calmness. However, this feeling is short-lived, and it's actually a major part of the problem. You see, nicotine is a highly addictive substance, and it's affecting our brains in ways that we're not even aware of. When we smoke, nicotine floods our brains with dopamine, a chemical that makes us feel good, but it's a false sense of security. In reality, nicotine is actually increasing our heart rate and blood pressure, making us more anxious and jittery in the long run. And let's not forget that nicotine withdrawal is a major contributor to feelings of anxiety and depression. So if smoking isn't actually reducing our stress levels, then why do so many people believe that it does? I think it's because we're confusing correlation with causation. Just because we often reach for a cigarette when we're feeling stress, it doesn't mean that the cigarette is actually making us feel better. In fact, it's likely making things worse. A deeper look at the science reveals some startling truths. Studies have consistently shown that smokers are more likely to experience anxiety, depression, and even cognitive decline compared to non-smokers. One study published in the Journal of Clinical Psychology found that smoking was actually a predictor of depression, and that quitting smoking was associated with significant improvements in mood. But what's really interesting is that the link between smoking and mental health goes both ways. Not only does smoking contribute to mental health issues, but mental health issues can also increase our likelihood of smoking. It's a vicious cycle, and one that we need to break. Take the example of nicotine addiction. When we're addicted to nicotine, we're not just physically dependent on the substance, we're also psychologically dependent. We start to associate smoking with feelings of relaxation and calmness, and we use it as a crutch to cope with difficult emotions. But this crutch is actually holding us back, preventing us from developing healthier coping mechanisms and exacerbating our mental health issues. One landmark study published in the journal Psychological Medicine found that smoking cessation programs that addressed nicotine addiction, as well as underlying mental health issues, were significantly more effective than those that only targeted nicotine addiction. This suggests that in order to truly overcome nicotine addiction, we need to tackle the underlying mental health issues as well. So let's summarize what we've discussed today. Smoking is not a stress reliever, despite what many of us believe. In fact, it's likely making our mental health worse, contributing to anxiety, depression, and cognitive decline. The link between smoking and mental health is complex, but research suggests that quitting smoking can have a significant impact on our mental well-being. Thanks for watching, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on this topic in the comments below. Have you or someone you know struggled with smoking and mental health? Share your story, and let's continue the conversation. And if you're new here, consider subscribing for more content on mental health and wellness. And don't forget to check out my next video on strategies for quitting smoking for good.